Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to lesson 9. The syntax lesson for today in Nahu is relative pronouns, al-ism al-mawsul, adverbs, zarf, and inna and its sisters. Right? So, ja'a, this was about actually a real, but this has actually happened literally last week where there's a new government change and all that in Syria. So basically, I use that text, the news about that, to make this so it's a bit more relevant and something probably you've seen in the news yourself. It's based on the real khutbah that was given in Jummah, only like in December 2024. Ja'a and Dimishqa, they came. Ja'a and Dimishqa. This book is very, very important to understand that in this book, one of the things, the texts that are used are slightly modern in the way that and mature in the sense that they're not kiddie sort of topics, number one, because we have a mature topic, which is aqīda and fiqh to study. So there's no point in learning a lot of kiddie things and then get to the point of learning actually some elevated Arabic. Secondly, it's a bit of a muscling our way through the Arabic and with it's very hard to a language acquisition is like there's components to it, but there's also the bigger picture. So you have like mubtada khabar and fi'l fa'al maf'ul, which is like main structures of communicating, right? But also it's like building a table, right? Let's say or a bed, let's say a four-legged bed. Like all beds are pretty much four legs, right? So I can explain to you what a bed is as a total, even though I can't explain to you what actually it is, like the complete structure. Or I can focus in one leg and build up the whole leg and explain to you what the whole leg is, and then tell you what the next leg is, and then the next leg, and then try to put it all together at the end. So you got to do this sort of dual thing where you're learning the minor components, but you're also learning the big picture as well at the same time, which is that you want to communicate and you want to see a contextualized text. That is the most effective way to learn. It's sort of like a hybrid between the two, and better to couple the or sit or nest the rules within a context, within a story. It is the most effective. My uncle, rahimahullah, he was a top translator, government translator, and this was his advice. Rahimahullah passed away a few years ago. It was one of his advices when I asked him about language, teaching and learning and so forth. He said that it's best to learn in the context. Hence why these texts are really, really good in terms of trying to understand the whole context, a topic, a paragraph talking about one topic, as opposed to disjointed sentences. So ja'a came today. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح جاء عن دمشق came from Damish. اليوم today. اليوم is and I'll read the explanation that each sentence has in the English. So جاء عن دمشق اليوم أن Muhammadan. So that's joined to this sentence, but it's treated as a separate sentence. So in the verb ja'a, the hollow verb. So we say ja'a laqala, right? Qama, he stood, right? So ja'a, he this is madi, right? Like nasara. It's a hollow verb because it's got an alif in the middle. It doesn't have like ja'a, like a nasara, right? So the final of the root letters is a hamza without a che. Hamza with a che means just the hamza by itself. The word غير دمشق is غير منصرف. Notice that it's got a harf jar before, but still got a fatha. That was in the previous lesson. غير منصرف is diptoed. It cannot take kasra or tanween. اليوم, literally that day, means today. It is an adverb of time or zarf of zaman, right? Adverb of time. Therefore, like adverbs in general, it is mansoob and hence a fatha, right? Like maf'ul. Remember maf'ul, an object, also has a fatha. The zarfs also have a fatha on the end. Zarf modify verbs. They give extra information about the manner, time, frequency of performing certain actions. Previously, adverbs were mentioned in chapter 6 as semi-prepositional, prepositional, since they act just like a harf jar. I mentioned before about harf jar, and I mentioned remember the three columns? So you had one column on the left of all the harf jar, the main ones that we used. Then the right, you had semi-preposition. Basically, they are nouns that act like harf jar, since we treat them like harf jar for the moment. But the reality, they have a bigger function than simply being harf jar particles or prepositions. But we call them semi-prepositional. For our purposes, we're muscling our way through the language, like sort of trying to get past getting bogged down into very complicated rules, trying to understand the text, right? And then you got the second part of the sentence. Anna is a subordinate conjunction, which is best translated as that. It always introduces a jumla ismiya. The mubtada of a sentence introduces by its mansub, while the khabar remains marfu'. Right? So if you have a look at the sentence here, so notice that Muhammadan al-Bashira Ra'is Wuzara al-Suriya al-Jadida. So this is all one person, pretty much. Right? So I'll explain that in a moment. Like it's one person and it's badal repeated over and over again. So Ja'a an Dimishqa, they came from Dimishq, al-yawma today. Al-yawma knows fatha because it's giving information, it's adverb of the fi'l. Ja'a. Anna, because the news came, right? Ja'a means they came from, but it doesn't mention what what came. It's assumed the news came from Damascus today that Anna. Now Anna is kind of like joining another sentence, right? And Muhammadan, so remember that Anna, it makes another mubtada khabar, right? Another mubtada khabar. The mubtada becomes an ismu inna, right? Or Anna in this case. And that's what it's referring. Inna, Anna, Kanna. These are like the sister called the sisters. There's 6 of them. Inna and it says Anna is one of the sisters. It makes a noun that's come after in a state of nasab as well, right? And hence the fathatain. Al-Bashir Muhammadan and Al-Bashira, that's his name, the Prime Minister of Syria at the moment, the new one. So Muhammad al-Bashira, Muhammad Bashir, they're talking about the same person. Muhammad, then Al-Bashira, Ra'is Wuzara'i, the head of the ministers, Prime Minister. This is Mudaf ilayh, As-Suriya, right? So who's it referring to? Muhammad Bashir, Ra'is As-Suriya, right? It's a sifa of Ra'isa. Al-Jadid is another sifa, the new Syrian Prime Minister, right? The new Syrian Prime Minister. So new and Syrian are both the Prime Minister's sifa. All right. Alladhi, so this is a ism mawsul, right? Demonstrative pronoun. Alladhi, there should be a shadda on the lam and a dal on the kasra. Alladhi wasala, the one who reached ila Dimashqa, to Damascus, min Idliba, from Idlib, another city, Idlib, another city in Syria, north of Syria, akhiran, recently. The one who reached Damascus, min Idlib, from akhiran. Akhiran is the manner that he reached in, recently. So that's, I hope that's clear, inshallah. So akhiran is giving, it's the adverb, zarf, and notice it's got a fathatain on it. قد خطب خطبة بليغة. He spoke, قد remember, is sometimes not even translated, but it means like with emphasis that he definitely gave. Khataba, khutbatan, ay khutbah, balighatan mawsuf sifat. So this is the maf'ul. Khutbatan, he gave, sermonized a sermon, right? Balighatan, an eloquent sermon. Fil masjid al-Umayyi al-Kabir. In the masjid al-Umayyi, in the Umayyi al-Kabir are 2 sifas of masjid, 2 adjectives of masjid. Fil masjid Umayyi, the grand Umayyad mosque. Qailan, saying. Qailan is the manner that he gave khutbah in, right? So qailan, saying or addressing. Inna arda, and this is actually from his khutbah that I was reading in an article. Inna arda shami allati laha majdun ja'ala mubarak dar al-iman. Inna arda shami, indeed the earth of Sham. I took a bit of poetic license and edited the khutbah a little bit. But indeed the land of the earth or the land of Sham, Levant, which is Sham, which is Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, and Jordan. Sham, allati, which, right? Because land is feminine, so allati is a ism mawsul, which. Laha, allati laha majdun, that which has majd, has glory, right? Ja'alaha Allahu mubarakatan. Ja'ala is the fi'l, ha is the maf'ul. Allahu lafz jalala is the fa'il, is the dua. Ja'alahu mubarakatan. What did Allah make it? He made it mubarak. He made the earth, he made it mubarak, blessed. Wadar al-imani, and the abode of iman. Right? So this, him making it this into something else. Right? He made it into something else. So it's like one maf'ul and a second maf'ul. Mubarak wadar al-iman is a second. Let's read the explanation in number 5 here. So allati is the singular relative mu'annath of alladhi. It introduces the relative clause mubarakatan. Alladhi laha majun ala mubarakatan, which modifies arda. The relative pronouns only used when the noun is modified, is definite. The combination of lishami consists of the harf jar li and definite article al and sham. It will be noticed that it was wasla and its chair has in this case dropped. That's the next sentence. So let's go back to it. And قال عنها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم طوبى للشام. They actually mentioned this in the khutbah. This is a continuation of khutbah that said about it النبي. قال is a fi'l, النبي is the fa'il. صلى الله عليه وسلم. النبي, the prophet, said about it, عنها, about his extra information, طوبى للشام, glad tidings for Sham, or glad tidings to Sham, or glad tidings, literally between for Sham. طوبى للشامي. Notice the alif, the hamza, that's what I was mentioning before, is dropped here. So when you add the harf jar, li, and there's a alif lam there, then you just join it together and get rid of the hamza totally, because you don't even read it anyway. Inna nasra, indeed victory. Inna nasra mas'uliyatun. So have a look at this. Inna nasra mas'uliyatun azimatun. Indeed the nasra. So inna, I was mentioning this at the start. Inna is the inna and its sisters. So it's one of those nouns. What does it do to mufti? If you didn't have that, you will say an-nasru with the dhamma. Mas'uliyatun is a responsibility, right? That'll be the mubtada khabar. But if you put the inna at the start, or anna, or lakinna, or one of the other sisters, these are words that make it, and you'll learn this later on, inshallah. Indeed, an-nasra now, this, what was the mubtada, an-nasra mas'ul khabar, we call this an-nasra ismu inna, right? It's the ism of inna, and we call mas'uliyatun khabru inna, because it's not really a mubtada khabar anymore, right? So if you say innal bayta, you say al baytu jamilun, the house is beautiful. Al baytu jamilun. If you put inna, which means indeed or verily for emphasis, innal bayta jamilun. The khabar stays the same, but we call it khabru inna. We don't just call it khabar anymore. It's still, the khabar is exactly the same in terms of it's got a dhammatain, but the jamilun now will be called khabru inna, because it's total sort of, it's changed. And the mubtada, what was the mubtada, has come ismu inna. And the way you know that is ism inna is there's the inna before it, and then you got a fatha on what was the mubtada, which is now called ism inna. Adimatun, mas'uliyah, adimatun, sifa of mas'uliyah, fi anaqina, in our necks. Fi anaq, unuq is neck, anaq is the plural, anaqina, mudaf mudaf ilayh, and then is majroor. The na, of course, is invariable because it's a attached pronoun. But fi anaqina, fi is a harf jar, this is extra information. So I hope that's clear, inshallah ta'ala. And then some of the extra text. وزاد على ذلك قائلا, and he added, وزاد, so notice the fi'al zada, la qala, it's got the alif in the middle. This is like the same, it's he. So far all the verbs that we've done is singular masculine, so we're only dealing with singular masculine at the moment, that he did this and he did this, and we haven't dealt with you and she and they. And so the reason is that we want to get to a text, contextualized text, without getting bogged down all the verbs, which will be in the second book, inshallah ta'ala. In lesson 10 and onwards, we'll start dealing with the different forms of verbs as we are learning the verb tables. We'll have enough, inshallah, that we can do that. وَزَادَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ قَائِلًا, and he added to this saying, right? قَائِلًا is mansoob, because why? It's zarf, and it's giving you the manner in which he, what did he increase on that? Speaking, addressing, saying. إِنَّهُ طَلَبَ إِلَى كُلِّ سُورِي, that he sought. إِنَّهُ, indeed he sought, talaba ila kulli suri, from every Syrian. Ila kulli Syrian, literally to every Syrian, but basically seeking from every Syrian, right? Every kulli Suriyin, from every Suri, ila kulli Suriyin. So ila is harf jar, kulli is majroor, and it's announced mudaf, and then Suri is mudaf ilayh. Fil khariji. Fil khariji, literally abroad, but it literally fil khar, in the outside, right? Al-awdata, what does he seek from them? Right? Al-awdata, this is a maf'ul of talaba. Why? Because there's a fatha there. Even though talaba is way back and there's things in between, but talaba al-awdata, he sought, he seeks al-awda, return, ila biladim, to their lands, biladihim, to their lands, to their country, right? To their homelands, right? A country is made out of many. Balad, bilad is a plural, but it's using to their lands in the sense that everybody's got their hometowns and within a country. Halan, immediately, right? He sought from them that return to the land. Hal libina'i baladin hurrin, right? Libina'i, for the building of, erecting of, building up. Libina'i baladin hurrin, a free country. Tahta, now balad is used in singular form. Baladin hurrin, tahta rayat al-Islami, under the banner of Islam or the flag of Islam. Tahta rayati. Although tahta rayati, like jar majroor, right? Tahta rayat al-Islami, under the flag Islam, راية مضاف مضاف إليه, right? And تحت is a zarf, but it's acting like we use jar majrur. We use it as jar majrur here. تحت راية الإسلام الذي شغل بال الأمة مدة طويلة, right? That which, right, has busied, right, occupied, مشغلة بال الأمة, the attention of the ummah. بال الأمة مضاف مضاف إليه, and it's مفعول. The فاعل شغلة is the huwa, right? The huwa, and the bala is a ism, and it's a maf'ul, and it's a mudaf to ummati. Bal ummati muddatan tawilatan, for a long time. Bal ummati muddatan tawilatan, right? Muddatan, for a duration. Tawilatan is a sifa of that, right? And both together they are the adverb, and they're giving you the form, or the manner in which the mind of the ummah, the attention of the ummah was preoccupied. All right, now moving on to sarf. Remember, we started the table in the previous lesson. Yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna. Just go here. Yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna, tansuru, tansurani, tansurani, yansurna. Now introduce the next six. Tansuru, tansurani, tansuruna, tansurina, tansurani, tansurna. So have a look here. Tansuru, tansurani, tansuruna, tansurina, tansurani. Tansurani appears 3 times, right? For female, second, third person. For both for the second person, female and male, right? Tansur also appears a few times. But anyway, you have to memorize the table, real life. Tansuru, tansurani, tansuruna, tansurina, tansurani, tansuru, tansurna, ansuru, nansuru, right? Ansuru, nansuru, right there. So this is the 14 table, and then you have to do the same thing. Make a table for yadribu. Daraba yadribu. Darab is a past tense. Darab yadribu. Now you have to do 14. Yadribu, yadribani, yadribuna, tadribu, tadribani, yadribna, tadribu, tadribani, up till the end with the translation. He is hitting or will hit. Tadribu, right? Tamrinu sarf means exercise of sarf. And then the hadith from hadith on the hifz. Al-birru. Just go down to the page. Al-birru. Husnul qala Rasulullah. Again, there's a mistake there. I've got to change that. Rasulullah. Remember, Rasulullah is mudaf mudaf ilayh, right? Rasulu is mudaf. And then lafz jalala is mudaf ilayh. His majrur's got a kasr. There's a mistake in the book. Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Al-birru husnul khuluqi. Al-birru husnul khuluqi. Righteousness, al-birru, all manners of good. Husnul khuluqi is perfection of character. So bir is excellence and performance of various and numerous good works which are born out of good character. Bir, right? Someone is bar, right? We are ordered to have bir towards the parents, meaning that to have good character, good to be righteous and good in our behavior to them. So bir al-abrar are the people that will enter Jannah, right? The righteous one. Abrar is the plural of bar. Bar is the person. Bir is the being righteous, being all manners of good. So bir, the explanation of bir is excellence and performance of various and numerous good works, right? And this is born out of the perfection of character, or the goodness of the character inside, the cleanness of the heart, and so forth. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and tawfiq to practice what we say here. Inshallah, this is the end of the first book. By all means, ask questions. I will do recordings if you like, inshallah ta'ala, to explain concepts and sentences. The idea, like I said, part of this course is to muscle our way through, to get past some points, basic structures, that we ingrain them through these examples. But the point is not just to finish the book or read the book. It's to drill these structures to the point of, and this vocabulary in this book as well. As we go through the books, inshallah, it's a 4-series book. I hope by tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to complete these 4 books this year in 2025. But inshallah, these 4 books are basically that by the end of it, we're able to read a matan in Arabic, a fiqh, an aqīda matan, inshallah, at least, and some other science as well. But that'll be a start for further Arabic studies, inshallah. And that we're able to read a matan of nahu and sarf by the end of the year as well, in Arabic, inshallah. So then we're studying the Arabic grammar in 1 year in Arabic, like Ajrumiya or Nahwamir or something like that, a book like that, or some sarf work, right? We're studying in Arabic, or a fiqh book, or an aqīda book, like Islamic usul of fiqh maybe as well, a basic like waraqat or some other simple work. We're reading the matan in Arabic directly. So we're engaging with the Arabic science, which is the whole point of this course. The idea is not to get bogged down in all the complexities of the language, because these books, Islamic books, are much more simpler than that. Yes, we should learn the beauty of the language and poetry and all those sort of things. It's an amazing time to it's never wasted. But we should be mindful not to skip the goals. If we want to get to a certain goal, which is Islamic sciences, then this hopefully is a starting point, and we can analyze the text grammatically, and it's not that hard, inshallah. Jazakumullah khaira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.